Althea Greaney. Welcome to the Simsbury View, an informational program that invites members of the Simsbury community to provide us with a view of what is happening in Simsbury. Today our guest is Jeff Brush, editor for Simsbury.patch.com. Jeff, we are so happy to have you here with us today.
Thank you.
That you can answer my many questions and hopefully our viewers' many questions about Patch.
Thank you for having me. I'm happy to be here.
Well, great to have you. So let's start with what is Patch and how did it get started?
Excellent question. Patch is a community news and information website. And Patch got started about a little over 5 years ago with just a handful of sites in the New Jersey area.
Okay.
And actually Patch was started, the idea was launched by our now CEO at AOL, Tim Armstrong. He had a vision for Patch when he was at home in his community in Greenwich, Connecticut. And that was when Patch was launched. And since then we have grown to just under around 1,000 communities nationwide.
Okay.
And we are covering community news and also sharing our audience with readers all over the country right now.
Oh, okay. So it's a local news source, but other people can patch in?
That's a good way of putting it, absolutely.
Okay.
What we've done at Patch, for the past 3 years I have served as a local editor, and with that title, my job has been to not only cover community news, anything from town hall to community schools, and feature stories that we may come across. My job is also to aid the community in ways that they can use Patch to communicate locally. You know, we've all used social media.
Right.
This
Facebook
is,
and Twitter.
Right. This is what I like to call community media.
Okay.
Patch has enabled people to be able to reach out locally and share news and events and things that are going on in their lives with people who they see every day, which is something in the past that has been a challenge on the internet.
Right.
The internet is very much the Wild West, and you can get all kinds of information on an array of topics, but finding it and also sourcing it and finding those things locally is a challenge.
Right.
Patch has really done a lot to sort of bring the community back to the local level online and offer people a place to share what's going on in their physical community on the internet.
Okay. So, so how did you get involved with Patch? I mean, you've been involved with Patch for how long now?
About 3 years.
Okay.
And I actually got my start as a photojournalist. I got my undergraduate degree in visual communications from Ohio University.
Oh.
And I worked for about 6 years as a photographer for various sized newspapers. And then from there, I went into more of a freelance career, writing and doing photography for news publications. And then I had such an interest in emerging media and online media that I decided to pursue a master's degree and went to American University. And then from there, I was fortunate enough to land a job with Patch and start practicing what I had been learning about, which is, you know, how the media has evolved from inception, you know, from very early written word to the telegraph to radio, TV, and now here we are with online media.
Yep.
And I really feel that Patch is really ahead of the curve when it comes to figuring out what communities want and need in their online realm.
Okay, good. Now I've joined Patch, and Patch is really cool because you can go there and you can look for stuff, or if you're not really sure what you're looking for, you can sign up for the newsletter, which I found really interesting because now I don't have to go looking for stuff. It just comes to my email and it says, well, this is what's happening today. And I'm like, okay, that's kind of cool. So how do people do that? I mean, I know how I did it. How would you advise people to do it?
Absolutely. There are actually many ways that people come to various Patch sites. Like I said, we're in about 1,000 communities nationwide. And within those communities, people are finding Patch in a number of ways. Some people, a great majority of people, come to the website directly, and they come because the websites will change during the day. Local editors try to do their best to keep the websites fresh with local content.
Okay.
And so a lot of people will find us that way. They'll come directly to the site. A lot of people get their information from Patch the same way you do, which is they subscribe to a daily or weekly newsletter. We offer both, and we also offer breaking news alerts and things like that.
So basically, people would go to like simsbury.patch.com, and once you get there, then you go in and you can. You have to sign up.
Yes.
You have to register, so you have to put in your own email address, and you have to put in a password. I think that was it. And then from there, you can go to.
Which is free.
Oh yeah, and it's free.
Sorry to interrupt.
That's okay. We got to get that out there.
Right.
And then you can actually go in and then register to receive the newsletter.
Correct. Actually, when you sign up, when you enter your email address and password, it'll actually ask you, do you want to receive a daily newsletter, the weekly newsletter? And now, actually, we just recently launched the new version of Patch, which we're all very excited about. And now you can even subscribe to specific boards. We have 4 sections that are separate from the news site. But another area people can post things, anything from the canoe you're trying to get rid of in our buy, sell, trade section.
Oh, so it's like a classified ads.
Absolutely. Local classifieds. We also have an announcement section if you're just looking to get the word out quickly. And we also have the business updates section. And from there, people can subscribe to these boards and also get emails for other things they're interested in that are happening on these sites.
Okay.
But that said, we also have, each site has its own social media page on Facebook. So Simsbury Patch would have the Simsbury Patch Facebook page and also a Twitter account. So we also have people who are coming to the sites through existing social media. And of course, just a simple Google search. You'd be amazed at how many businesses you might type into a Google search, and one of the first few listings that pops up on Google will be Patch, because each site does also offer a complete business directory of all local businesses, community organizations, and things like that, which is also free. We provide that to the business community.
Wow, that is great.
It is.
That's awesome, because now, so it's my 22nd wedding anniversary coming up, and I want to go out for a nice meal, but I don't want to go to someplace I've already gone to. I can find a new place just by going to Patch.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you can also, after you've gone there, you can go on to Patch and provide a review and post a comment for other people who are thinking about the same thing. Say how much you enjoyed your visit, and then other readers can share about that as well.
Great. Well, that doesn't sound bad at all. Sounds really good. So who owns Patch, and how does it make money? Because I mean, you've got to have a way of being paid. I mean,
absolutely. I don't work for free, but I do enjoy it. Patch is owned by AOL. I'm sure everyone remembers the classic "You've Got Mail," America Online. AOL is still a very large media company, and now with Patch, what we're doing is moving into the content area. So AOL, a huge moneymaker for AOL is still their dial-up service, surprisingly.
Wow.
But we're also shifting into content. I'm sure you've also heard of other name brands like Huffington Post and TechCrunch. Those are also AOL brands. And Patch is one of those content brands.
Okay. So,
and I'm sorry to answer your other questions.
How do you fund it?
How do we make money? And it's very much similar to traditional media.
Okay.
We make profit revenue off of advertising.
Okay.
And we also, we offer this platform to the local community. We offer an audience for people to share and post, and we also offer a space for local businesses to advertise within their communities. Which is another challenging thing to do on the internet.
Right. Yeah.
There's so many options.
Options are just incredible.
And most of them are not within a local community.
Right.
So we're really trying to present and make everything available within these communities online. More of a, I guess you could call it a local information portal.
Okay. So the information is free, but if you want to advertise, there's a cost. Okay.
Exactly.
And a person wanting to advertise would just contact you.
They
that.
would, right. Well, they would. We have regional ad managers. They absolutely can contact the local editor for any number of patch sites, and they can help put them in touch with the regional ad managers.
Okay.
But we do have people on the ground, in the communities who are working with business owners as well.
Okay.
So we have our local editors, but we also have people who can assist in that area,
Okay.
face to face, which is another
nice,
thing
yeah.
when you're dealing with an online publication. Oftentimes you can visit a number of websites and never know who's producing the content, never know who's your point of contact for advertising.
Yep.
And with Patch, all of that is right here in the communities.
In the community. Okay, fantastic. Now, here's a question. Where do you get your news stories? How do you get your news stories?
Excellent question. A lot of the same ways that you would approach it, again, in traditional media. We have reporters in every community, the local editors. And the local editors, their primary job is to get out in the communities and be talking to town officials, school officials, and residents, business owners. And people start sharing stories.
Yep.
And that's one of the great things about Patch. Each site has one editor, which, as you can imagine, is for a community the size of, say, Simsbury. There's a lot going on in Simsbury every day. And even with traditional media at its height, with newspapers at their strongest, and reporters and bureaus in every community, there were still everyday stories that you just can't cover.
Yeah.
But they're still important to a sizable amount of people within these communities.
Right.
So things that may not be a splashy front page news story, but it might be something that's important to your school because you have a fundraiser, or you want to recognize your student athletes or academic scholars.
Right.
This is a place where people can actually do that, and they don't have to wait for a reporter or an editor to have the time to do that, because
they could do it themselves?
Absolutely. Anyone in the community can log on to Patch and start a blog.
Okay, wait a minute. Now, I keep hearing about blog, and I kind of have this fuzzy feeling I know what it is, but I'm not really sure. So a blog is just people who get online and just kind of write down stream of consciousness type things?
It really could be. I think blog is one of those words, that 20 years ago didn't exist.
Yeah.
I think with the internet, because the internet is such a, there's a lot of moving parts and they're always changing. And I think with terms like blog, the definition of that can change for any number of people. Anyone could have a different perception of what a blog is.
Okay.
For Patch purposes, a blog is really the reader's space on the Patch site to share their news.
Okay.
We call it blog. People instantly can associate with blog. That's something that you post.
Okay.
It's information, and it can be shared in a number of ways. There are all kinds of blogs out there, and the word blog, I believe, technically comes from the word weblog.
Okay.
Which would be sort of a online log, a diary of sorts.
Right.
But basically, it's information to be shared.
Okay.
And again, like I said, for Patch purposes, it's really the spot on our site. I guess we don't want readers too much to focus on the word blog as much as this is where you can share your stories and the things that are important to you with the community, because there are others in the community who would want to hear about these things?
I mean, so like if you're a Squadron Line parent who's in charge of the current school play, you would be able to post that out onto the patch and say, the students at Squadron Line have put together, I don't know what play they're doing this year, but this play, and we're having a showing on this night at this time, and
Absolutely.
so other people could possibly go see it that weren't necessarily involved.
Absolutely, and that's a great example because actually there is a group of parents at Squadron Line that are using the Simsbury Patch blog platform to raise awareness about the new playground that they're trying to have constructed at Squadron Line.
Squadron Line? But Squadron Line, the Squadron Line just had a new playground. Oh, this must be the kindergarten playground they're redoing.
I believe, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, they're working on getting a new playground, and they've had a blog on Simsbury Patch, letting people know about fundraising activities and progress that they're making. So it's really a way to keep people updated about organizations, businesses, town government. We also have Simsbury Parks and Rec. They have a blog on Patch, and
that's good.
They're letting people know about summer camps and all the different offerings that they have, during different seasons.
Yep.
So it's really become a great, and Simsbury has really embraced Patch, and people are sharing all kinds of things. It's great for me to see. Like I said, I've worked in 3 communities for Patch. And I have built audiences in those 3 communities. They didn't exist before. So here comes Patch, and each editor, their job is to go out and talk to people and build that audience. So now we've got these audiences in around 1,000 communities nationwide, and now we're looking to share them. It works for us, and it works for the community. The community gets a richer website with more information and more conversation. And then, of course, we get the audience that we want. And it continues to grow. And we love to see that, because as the audience grows, so does the content, and so does the quality of that content. So
you actually get more breaking news because somebody's out and going, well, don't go down Route 10 now because this and this happened here, or the bikes. There's a bike race coming on whatever June whatever day, and you won't be able to get up and down Iron Horse Boulevard, so don't even bother trying. That
Again,
type of thing.
A perfect example. Granby had their road race this past weekend. Captain Tyler from the Granby Police Department contacted me and asked if we could post that. So we got that announcement up on the Granby website to let Granby residents know that was coming this weekend. So again, a very simple, quick hit. Not necessarily a big breaking news story, but useful information. And this is stuff that is important to everyone on a daily basis. But not necessarily on a national level. So someone
people in Hartford don't need to know about it, but people in Simsbury should know. Or need to know.
A lot of times I'll have readers tell me that they subscribe to multiple patches. They may live in Simsbury but work in West Hartford or work in Farmington, and they might subscribe to those patches as well. Because if you're active in any business community, you know that, even if you don't live in that town, you're involved in that community. And Patch is a great way, great resource for somebody to remain involved and to continually be active.
Stay connected.
Absolutely.
Okay. Let's see. So I did have a question, do you have reporters? But you kind of answered it because it was like, yeah, it's me.
Well, and that's true. Like I said, we do have one editor per site. Some towns, when we have smaller communities with, I guess we can't necessarily justify having one editor for every one of the smaller communities. We have certain sites that we found it just works better to have one person managing 2 or 3 sites, and we also have a good amount of user engagement on those sites as well. But that said, patch editors serve as the primary reporters for the sites, but then our readers are also acting as reporters. Like I said, if you go to the Simsbury site on any given day, you will see we always highlight the most recent 3 blog posts
Okay.
that have been posted, and every day those are changing. Every day we have businesses, we have hobbyists, we have people who are involved in volunteer organizations like SCTV who are getting involved in the site, and it works for them too. Say you have an existing blog, we welcome you to post any content that you're posting on your blog, right on Simsbury Patch, and it's a great way for if you're looking to have a presence online. Business owners are always looking for ways to increase their exposure and their visibility.
Right.
And there are so many great ways to do that on Patch. And it might not be, if you are a business owner, it might not be blogging about your business.
Right.
Because most people in your community know your business, they know
Right.
you're there. There are so many other things that you're probably involved with in your
Right.
community that you could be sharing. I know we have one local businessman who has a finance blog, but then he also has a second blog on the site, a local sports blog, and he's featuring Little League. I believe he's involved with that organization as well.
Wow.
So he gets to share 2 different sides of his life here in the community,
Yeah.
and that helps him in 2 ways. People know about his business,
Yep.
but then they also are getting other information, and he's a source for that.
Right.
So and that works for you as well.
Great.
Yeah.
So are there any restrictions, etiquette, rules for being a blogger on Patch?
Sure. It is very much a community website, and we do have editors there to moderate the content and the conversation that is going on. Yes, we do have some restrictions. We ask that people, first off, when they sign up for an account, we ask that they use their real name. This is a community site, and we want to have a community conversation.
Right.
So it helps to know who you're talking to.
Exactly.
Not everyone abides by that, but we also don't police it because we want, like I said, we want a richer website where people are participating, and sometimes people don't want to use their real name when offering a comment. So that said, when comments do get out of line, editors will step in and redirect the conversation because we want to keep it about the issues that are present in the communities, and also we want it to reflect life in that community. I guess the best way to put it is when you are posting on Patch and you're posting in your community, you want to talk to your community like your neighbors are listening.
Right, because they are.
They are. They are. I often tell people, when you're posting a blog, don't post it like you are writing a master's thesis or you're speaking to a doctoral class. But also don't post like you're talking to your best friend. Post like you're having a conversation with an acquaintance at a coffee shop. You want to share something that's important and also interesting to you, and you would do it in a conversational manner.
Right.
So blogging doesn't have to be, you don't have to be a skilled novelist or a practiced writer. It's really just, it shouldn't be an intimidating thing. It should be a community thing. Okay. And people are really embracing that here. It's great to see, especially after you've worked so hard to build an audience and maintain an audience, and now that audience is really kind of taking the reins.
Okay.
And it's awesome to see.
Self-fulfilling. Is that
Yes.
what it is?
I guess.
So, Jeff, I read somewhere that you were raised here in Simsbury.
I was born and raised.
And you left, you went to Ohio. I remember that from our earlier beginning of the show. You went to
Yes.
Ohio.
I've been a lot of places since I left Simsbury, but yes, I graduated from Simsbury High School in 1996. From there, I did study for a year at Marist College in Poughkeepsie, New York.
Okay.
And then I went to Ohio University and finished out my degree there. From there, I worked at a small newspaper in Monroe, Michigan. And then I tried my hand at freelancing out in the Pacific Northwest in the Seattle area. And then I also worked as a staff photographer for the Connecticut Post in Bridgeport for a number of years.
Wow.
Before I went and got my master's in DC.
Great. Well, I tell you, we've got a great editor then.
Well, at least a domestically traveled editor. I've lived in 12 different states. I've been fortunate to have gotten to explore the country a bit. I did have an opportunity after launching my second site in South Carolina to come back here and work in my hometown, and I thought it would be a great opportunity.
Great.
And it has been.
Great. Good. I'm glad you came back. So what do you like most about your job as the editor?
Most? That's a tough question. I really enjoy all aspects of it, and I for the first time in my life, I can say that about my job. You know, I get to interact with people in the community on a daily basis, and really the editors get to serve as sort of a point person in these communities, and you see it every day. I mean, you know, town officials will contact us, volunteers with organizations, people who want to share a great thing that their son or daughter has done at school. So we're really kind of a conduit for all this information, and then we have to present it in a way that, you know, we feel that readers will appreciate. So that's a great part of my job, but also working with people and coaching them on ways that they can use Patch to really help enrich their community.
Yep.
You know, that's a great thing too.
Great. Well, thank you so much for joining us.
Well, thank you for having me. It was great to be here.
So that's Jeff Brush, and he visited with us today. I learned a lot about the Patch today, and I hope you, our viewers, did too. To visit the Patch and to sign up for daily delivery of the Patch newsletter, go to simsbury.patch.com. If you have an organization that you would like Jeff to speak to about the Patch, you may contact Jeff via his email, jeff.brush@patch.com. I want to thank our camera volunteers, Phil Kushan and Charlene Denny, and SCTV station manager Karen Hanville, who's also the director today, our editor Jason Staples, and operations assistant Phyllis Fishberg. I'm Althea Greaney, hoping you've enjoyed learning about another way to stay informed and connected to our community. Thanks for watching.
Funding for Simsbury Community Television is provided in part by contributions from viewers like you. Thank you.